This year, for the Pass the Wire annual seminar, we're going to change things up. Why? For you. Everything I cover in the seminars in a clear, concise PDF you can download, print, read off your device, anything you like. Everything, and I mean everything that we cover in the seminars, right at your fingertips. Nobody does it better. And if that's not enough, if you join and ride with me, a private, members-only Q&A where you can ask anything about the Breeders' Cup, get answers, and sharpen your play. Secure your spot at PassTheWire.com and try and make this your best Breeders' Cup ever. I'm surely going to try and make it mine. Ciao tutti, tutto a posto.
Buenos dias.
What's going on, everybody?
All good. We almost got a full house minus Big Race Jim, but we're gonna try and be off the air so all you NFL watchers can watch the game and maybe even bet it and make some money on it. I like Seattle, but what do I know? Gentlemen?
I'm on Seattle too, John, and we'll get this in. It's all about horses now, and then we'll get cozy for the evening for the NFL.
All right. Interesting developments in the world of horse racing. Before we get into the races we're going to cover, and for those of you tuning in or watching the replay later, we're going to cover the Woodward and the Vosburgh from Aqueduct. We're going to cover the Lukas Classic from Churchill Downs. We're going to cover the John Henry and the Goodwood from Santa Anita. That's 5 races. Some potential and likely Breeders' Cup implications. It's time to get serious and start padding those Breeders' Cup bankrolls, because that's one of the days you want to bet like a savage. If you're anything like me, that's a day of savage betting. And let's see, racing. First off, get well, stay strong. Brian Hernandez, man, what a tough break for him to go down. Horse be euthanized, but him get I think seven broken ribs, collapsed lung or liver or something. I don't know. He's really, really banged up. And really, after the year he had, just what a terrible time for him. Heading into the Breeders' Cup, he's going to lose Mystic Dan. Pratt's already picked up Torpedo Anna. Just a bad break for Brian, who's a hell of a nice guy and a hell of a really good rider who, in my opinion, doesn't get the recognition that he deserves.
I'll comment on that, John. As you know, I was in Florida on vacation, and I was away from horse racing. But when I got back, that's the most alarming news that I saw. I saw a number of things. But when I saw that he went down, first of all, I thank God he was okay. But one thing that's symbolic of BJ Hernandez is his willingness and his propensity to be very successful with riding inside. And I didn't get a chance to see the race because they won't show it. I missed it altogether. But, let's hope he has a full recovery and he gets back to being the same BJ Hernandez we know, riding on the inside and being a fierce competitor like he is.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's, fortunately, we've seen some good progress on the surgeries on his ribs and his punctured lung. So he's on the road to recovery, but it's probably a shame he's not going to be back racing until sometime early next year.
One thing that I noticed about the whole thing that I think deserves a little bit of a mention, because racing, and we'll talk about Paco in a minute, and then all the bad optics that racing has, but racing gets a lot of bad press and a lot of black eyes, and most of them is self-inflicted. I get that. I'm not gonna shill for horse racing. A lot of the shit that they get, they deserve. But you tell me a sport where an athlete goes down bad with an injury like that, and his family is putting up tweets and messages between him and Ken McPeak and his wife, in the hospital, describing what's going on and what's happening. That's a lot of transparency and a lot of interaction with the fans, in my opinion. Most of the time, that kind of information and that kind of stuff is guarded. You may get one public tweet or a statement or something like that, but they were really transparent. Ken McPeak put out a whole conversation between him and Brian's wife, almost in real time, with her okay. And I just thought that was kind of nice and kind of a good look for the game and for our sport, with the transparency and interaction. You guys agree?
I agree. Yes, 100%.
100%.
You know what was important about that? Because a guy like Hernandez, especially
because in all the other sports, you usually don't get that transparency. Most other sports, you might get it right there that evening that they went to the hospital and he's okay, but that's about it. You have to read it 2 or 3 days later saying, they're still on the injury reserve list or something like that.
Yeah, and like I said, he was on the national scale for a while because of the Derby win on Mystic Dan and everything he's done on Torpedo Anna. So it adds to it the fact that he was in the public eye and they were very open providing those details. I thought it was pretty cool, Yeah,
I did too. And on, it's a tough break for him because, you lose those horses. I'd like to think if they keep running, next year, and I think there was some talk about Torpedo Anna, and Eddie, you might know this because you were there at Ken's barn that day and spoke with him. Isn't Torpedo Anna possibly going to run in one of the big races at the beginning of next year?
There's Kenny shared with me that they may go to Dubai or Saudi and run her there.
Okay, so you got to think that if Brian's back by then, and I don't know that he will or he won't be. Let's say Pratt wins the Spinster. Pratt's going to ride her in the Spinster and the Distaff. He wins both of those races on her. Brian's back. They go to the Saudi Cup, 12 million. They go to the Dubai World Cup. What is that? 10 million, whatever. Does he put Brian back on? You'd like to think, but you take off Pratt, world class rider. I mean, that's a tough spot.
Tough, definitely a tough spot when you're talking about a world class rider. I'd like to think that Kenny's been so loyal to Brian that if Brian's healthy enough and they do go to Saudi or Dubai, that he'd give him, if that's going to be her last race, give him the ride. And I think that's what Kenny would do.
You never know. The owners may be saying, hey, $20 million, whatever, $10 million, whatever the purse is, I want Pratt if I could get Pratt. I don't know.
Yeah, but John,
Catman, what are you saying? Worst ride you've seen in 20 years or worst rider? I'm not following you.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully he will clarify. Oh, hold on. Juan Hernandez, regular rider Baffert, would have rode correctly and win the race. What race are we talking about, Catman? I agree, Pat. Loyalty paramount, but I mean, you're an old school guy like us.
Yeah,
Does
but
it still happen?
John, I'm going to weigh in on that. What Ed said is true. One thing about Ken McPeak, he's had a number of opportunities to go with different riders in different spots. If BJ Hernandez is healthy at full strength, a big race like that, he'll be on. It won't be Flavien Prat, even if Flavien Prat sweeps the board. Because think of the body of work and everything that BJ Hernandez did with Torpedo Anna to the age of 2 and 3.
I agree in theory, and I would like to see it. And I think with Ken, there's a good chance we do. And obviously, he's in touch with the family, but you just never know. It's just a tough spot and a tough break for Brian, in my opinion.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, Paco Lopez winds up getting 6 months for raising the whip a little bit too high, but it's a little more than that. He was on kind of a probation situation where, he was told any kind of violations and you're going to get hit with that suspension. And, he knew that. So what do you expect? You know what I mean? I don't think he's got any gripe whatsoever. And he's just got to take the 6 months standing up.
Well, I want to weigh in on Paco Lopez because, and I won't be too strong against him because I can be. First things first, when I saw him literally punch that horse in the face after the race was over, I thought his ban should have been much longer than 6 months suspension. I thought it should have been a few years. Plus, let me add, I'm local here at Monmouth. I know he wins a lot of races at Monmouth, but I've seen that guy, competitor or non-competitor, I've seen that guy have disrespect for the horses and for the people watching because, to me, he's been excessive way too often. So good riddance to him. I'm not a fan of him.
You mean aggressive, I'm taking.
Aggressive, more than like using tactics that are not needed when races were already won. Plenty of those New Jersey state-bred races, low claimers. He's leading by 3 or 4 in the stretch, and he's still beating down the horse. I've seen it so often. I like players in the NFL and Major League Baseball that are good guys off the field. Same thing in horse racing. To me, maybe I don't know him intimately, but to me, he doesn't seem like a good guy off the field.
There are NFL players that are good guys off the field.
Plenty of them. Yeah.
Let me give you.
I'm only saying that because I just happened to watch the video with Odell Beckham, OBJ, whatever the heck you want to call him, when they took him off the plane in Miami and he made everybody get off before he got off, and he acted
there are some pieces of garbage too. I mean, the guy Tyreek Hill, he's like a cockroach. There's many exceptions, but I just made the point that I want guys to be great on the track, great on the field, and good guys, good people off the field. So, I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on Paco Lopez.
Yeah, let me chime in real quick on it because I'm not a friend of Paco, but I know him very well, and he knows me, and we exchange texts from time to time. But it's just like any other sport, almost any other industry. Yeah, he's got a history. And I've seen Paco at his best. I've seen him at his worst. And what I also just found out yesterday from somebody in the industry that knows, which I didn't know this, since he came back, he's been suspended, I think, 3 other times for 1 or 2 days for riding infractions. And I was not aware of that. So, and then on top of that, I mean, it's like almost, hey, enough is enough. Now, I do understand that he got to stay. And I think he might be riding at Santa Anita on Saturday, John. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Saw that. There's no way he's riding that horse.
No?
No. No way.
But anyhow, he did get a stay, so it's being appealed and everything. But
no, he didn't get a stay.
He did.
It was rejected. No, he didn't. It was rejected.
Was it really?
Just came across my phone about a half hour ago.
Oh, okay. Well,
I shouldn't say that. With all the bullshit now, with artificial intelligence, clickbait, and all that other bullshit, who knows? But I did get something over my phone. Paco stay was rejected. Yeah.
What do you think, Charles?
Now, the only thing with Paco for me, I mean, I see why they got him, and he's done other infractions like Eddie brought up. I just want his to be the same on everybody, though, no matter what the punishment is. You look at some of these jockeys at Parx, and you see them ride. They bring their hand up above their head and to whip those horses. That's what they got Paco on this last thing on. I'm not saying that's, he shouldn't have. I'm saying if you're going to do that, you got to do it to everybody else. I'm just saying his has got to do their part of being consistent across the board.
I know, but Charles, we all remember what Paco did after a race was over. He struck an animal with hatred, with anger. He should have been banned for life. There's no if I was an owner, Mike Rapoli said it. I wouldn't want that animal near any one of my animals.
I can't argue with that. I got to agree with you on that.
Hey, John, can I bring up? I know you and I briefly talked about it for like 10 minutes, but to go on to another spectrum on a good sportsmanship thing is talk about what happened at Parx the other day with what Michael Sanchez did on his ride. Can I talk about that real briefly?
Yeah, you know the story better than me. Why don't you? I only know what you told me.
Yeah.
So it was race 7 at Parx on the 24th. What was that? Was that yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, maybe. But anyhow, he's riding a horse.
Day before.
He's right up there.
Yeah, it might be yesterday. Man.
But he was right up there with the leaders, and then he hears his friend, the jockey Abner Adorno, on horse whose bridle broke. And as Adorno is passing the outrider, he waves at him, whatever, and the outrider starts trying to get him, but they're already at full speed. And then Michael Sanchez realizes it and basically takes his horse out of the race, backs up because the horse is on the far outside rail, and basically saved what could have been a very bad situation. I'm not going to go ahead and say a deadly situation, but it could have been really bad. He got side by side with the horse, slowed the horse down, and then Abner was able to come inside, and then the outrider finally got to him. I mean,
they declared the horse he was riding a non-starter, so none of the betting public took a hit on that.
Exactly. So Parx did a great job in that regard as well. So, but
Parx don't get much good press, so I think it's nice that you mentioned that. We got a couple of races to talk about.
Yes.
You guys want to move on to races, or we got any other quote news items?
No, it's time. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, Gio. Hit lead off.
We're good.
The Woodward. Who you like?
All right. Woodward. Obviously, with all the horses like this, the grade 2 Woodward, we know a lot about a lot of these guys. We've all done a lot of work with a lot of these guys. And as much as I felt that Post Time is a game competitor, I know he's going to run his race, I couldn't get past Locked on the outside. Let me give you my reasons for that. First things first, I thought Phyllis Fogg is a bet against, because even here on Past the Wire TV, coming into the last race, I felt like he peaked in his race before in the Suburban. So I knew after the Suburban, I was going to short Phyllis Fogg. But why I'm on Locked? Locked is facing older here. However, two for two at the track at Aqueduct. I know he's built for the distance, could go even longer. I had great expectations for this colt. I felt like his last, when he was beaten by Phyllis Fogg, I didn't think he had his best. And my final note on this, I trust Johnny V, and I feel Locked. If he runs his best race, he wins and runs them all down by a couple lengths. So I couldn't get past him knowing that fact. I'm on Locked.
Pay the rent with Charles Trent. Who you like?
Well, I think Jill was looking at my paper, what I liked here. So I'm 100% on Lock. I think the race is going to set up perfect for him. I believe there's enough speed in this race to do that. And, like you said, John Velasquez is going to have him rolling late, and I think he pulls away at the end.
Interesting. Nice guy, Eddie.
Well, I'm basing this on what I heard earlier today, where there could be multiple scratches in the race. If there wasn't multiple scratches, I would probably have landed on Post Time. But from what I understand, there's only going to be 3, maybe 4 horses in this race. And I think Phileas Fogg is going to get to the front and play Catch Me If You Can. Phileas Fogg, he's going to be the lone speed with Carmouche on him. Carmouche is arguably top 2, top 3 front-running jockeys out there. The horse, out of 4 races at Aqueduct, has won 3 and came second once. So I think he's going to play Catch Me If You Can if it's that short of a field, and I don't see him losing if that happens.
I will say this. I agree with everything you said.
Well, if it's a short field, I think so too.
If they scratch this down to a 3-horse race, I would say yes. If he's one of the ones in there, he'll be the main speed and be very tough to run down. I didn't like Locked, and I'll tell you why. Locked last time out when he got beat looked like he was working terrible. I watched his workouts, and he looked terrible. And I'm like, this horse just looks bad. And he ran like he looked. He had nothing. He had 0 in the tank. He did not look like the horse he was earlier in the year at all. Certainly not like the horse he was out west. Granted, I think what Gio said is true. If he runs his best race or a race like that one he ran out west, the race is for second. But he doesn't look like the same horse, and I haven't seen his works now. So unless he's made a complete turnaround from the animal he was in Saratoga, hard no for me, especially at a short price. I like, without factoring Eddie's scratches, Post Time. I think Post Time is consistent. I think he comes home fast. I think he knows how to win. I think he's overdue to win a race like this. What is this, a grade 2? It's really more like an allowance race or a listed stake, if that. But if they scratch out of it and he's left dawdling behind, 2 or 3 horses, it's going to be tough for him. Eddie, do you know who the scratches are going to be?
Gould Gold, for one thing. Gould Gold will probably scratch, I heard.
Okay.
Well, David Grenning.
That'll be good to know, because I heard nothing about the scratches. And, coincidentally, John, that was my hard exacta straight through, Locked over Post Time, because Post Time is a gritty game horse. 19 for 20 on the board lifetime. That's a very dependable horse.
I agree.
According to David Grenning from DRF, the only 3 horses that are going to run for sure are Post Time, Phileas Fogg, and Locked. And you may get Willie Deer or Awesome Aaron in there.
Wow. Okay.
Let's hope they don't destroy this race, because it obviously changes the race dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it changes the race dramatically.
Yeah, totally changes.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's only those 3.
But John, one other note I want to give you, because you made a comment about Locke's performance at Saratoga. I agree with you. He seemed very inadequate, very lethargic in a way. But in my opinion, he needed that race. He hadn't been out since early May. I think he ran on the Derby undercard, and he likes Aqueduct. He's 2 for 2 there.
I get it, and I would agree with you. And I would agree with your assessment if I had not seen his workout. If you watched the work before that race at Saratoga, you couldn't bet him. I mean, he just didn't look good, not even a little bit. So
I hope they don't kill the race. I hope they don't make it a 3-horse field. That'll be ridiculous.
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
It happens. All right, moving right along. The Vosburgh, which could have Breeders' Cup sprint implications, or might not. Pay the Rent with Charles Trent. Who you got?
I'm glad you came to me, because I really like a horse here a lot tomorrow. Actually, Saturday, excuse me. Scotland. I mean, this horse looks like it's made for this distance. This horse has been running up against, there's no Bookham Dano in this race. So this horse has no excuse to close and finish this race very well. There's plenty of speed in here. Of course, it's a sprint, so there should be. But he has that he has that tactical speed to sit there second or third all the way around and just pounce on him down the lane. So I really like that horse a lot on Saturday, Scotland.
Nice guy, Eddie.
Yeah, I was debating between Scotland, but I landed on Crazy Mason. I think so long as Crazy Mason can get a good break, this horse has had trouble breaking in the past. Hit the gate in the forego and just missed. And that's where I think Scotland came second in that race. He had a really nice work, his last work before this race. And there's plenty of speed in here, and he's going to be flying at the end, and I think he runs them all down and gets up.
4 for 3 at the Big A also. Gio, who you got?
All right. I got a totally different twist on this race. I'm going to share with my audience here. Mr. Setti's on Doc Sullivan, and I'm going to support my claim here, okay? First things first, in race review, especially because now this horse is 4, especially the physicality has changed with this guy, this colt, from 3 to 4 in a significant way. I trust John Ortiz. Rosario's back up. And what's very instrumental here is the post position. Because think of what the connections did. In his last 2 races, he breaks from the 9 and the 10 hole. He comes out of that grade 1 forego. In that race, in my opinion, he ran a lot better than it seemed. He does have to turn the tables on Scotland and Crazy Mason. Crazy Mason, I have high regard for too. However, that horse is going to be totally dependent on a big trip to make that big run. You know, obviously something can go wrong when you got to come from far back like Crazy Mason does. But I like that Rosario's back. In my opinion, this is a median grade 3. They were ambitiously entering this New York bred in the grade 1 forego. Now back to Aqueduct, where the horse got several good races over the track. I have no reservations about the distance. One thing about 7 furlongs is that horses are creatures of habit. And when you're good at 7 panels, you're always good at 7 panels. I just see a good ground-saving trip with options for Rosario. And I think Rosario could get this guy home at a price. I'm on Doc Sullivan.
I like the pick, Gio. I mean, I said I was debating between Scotland and Crazy Mason, but if I didn't choose Crazy Mason, I probably would have picked Doc Sullivan because I think Scotland comes second.
Yeah, and so to close out my full order, because I'm playing a key here, and I'm on just a quick order. No horses, not names. My order is 4891 because I'm betting this race. I'm on Doc Sullivan.
Oh, I love it, Gio.
You know, it's funny because when Doc Sullivan moved from Mike Misselli to John Ortiz, and you know, I'm not really knocking Mike Misselli, I thought he would get better and move forward, and I think he has. You know, he won the Morrissey in the mud at Saratoga, and he came back and ran a decent race in the forego. I got no knock on him. I looked long and hard at Doc Sullivan. I started out liking Scotland, who I liked last time at a big price. This time he's probably going to be the favorite. Can surely win, but you know, it came down to the 3 you guys talked about, really: Scotland, Doc Sullivan, and Crazy Mason. And at the last look, I wound up going to Crazy Mason, and I think a big part of it was I'm knocking Scotland because I'm not in love with the rail. I'm knocking Doc Sullivan because I'm not sure he's quite good enough to win. And I'm landing on Crazy Mason because I like the outside draw, going 7 panels. Manny's been kind of hot. And what really jumps out at me is not only the 5 for 16, which is almost a third of his races, but the 3 for 4 at Aqueduct at the Big A. So see the good in all those 3, but definitely wound up making the final call on Crazy Mason for the reasons I said before. So where are we heading now? Churchill Downs?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. We got Frank on Baby Yoda. $100,000 claim. You don't see that all the time. Hang on, let me find the race so I have it in front of me, so we don't make no
And
mistakes.
those watching live, if you want to shoot us a comment, anything that's on your mind, do not hesitate. We're live.
What's the race numbers at Churchill?
10.
Churchill race
Race
10.
10.
The Lukas Classic.
$5 million grade 2.
Nice guy, Eddie. Who you got?
My heart wants Mystic Dan to win because I'd love to see the Derby winner get back on track fully. I'd love to see Kenny McPeak win. And especially in the light of what happened to BJ Hernandez, it'd be nice to whoever ends up riding him, because Kenny hasn't fully committed. I think he said that if a horse scratches or two, he may jump off of I forget the jockey that's listed on him right now. But I landed on Hit Show. Hit Show, he won this race last year. Flojo's back on him. Flojo's been on him for all 7 of his victories. He's third race off a layoff since Dubai, and they've really given him a lot of time since Dubai. And he's rested, and he's got some really nice horse leading into this. So I think the race pace sets up for him. I think he's going to have choices of where to sit in the race. And there's 2 or 3. I mean, Banishing could win, Disarm, Mystic Dan. But I had to pick one, so I landed on Hit Show.
Gio, who you got?
All right. Gio's going to rock and roll because he's going to rattle and roll. Let me tell you guys, I love this horse. Love this horse on Saturday. I'll give you some details. I'm good with Julian Leperoux getting up here for Ken McPeak. This horse absolutely adores Churchill Downs. Loves the distance. I feel like this guy has a ton of back class. Now at the age of 6, those 3 races coming back to Churchill now. This guy hasn't been out since April. 8 for 9 in the money, 5 for 9 in exactas at Churchill Down. But what I love most, this is a skill set here by Kenny McPeak. Look what they're doing with this guy. Talking about a horse that's going to be flying late. When do you see workouts? 3 going 36 breezing. 3 going 35 and 3 breezing. This horse is light-footed now, ready. Then close it out with the 46 and 4 breezing. This horse is fresh, fit, and dangerous. And in a race where a lot of horses have turned the faucet on and off, I like that this guy is coming into this race fit and ready to roll. So I think he runs him down in the stretch. I'm going to play him over Disarmed and Banishing. 3, 6, 7.
Pay the rent with Charles Trent.
Well, for me, this race is pretty loaded, I have to admit. And it was very hard, but I ended up with Banishing. I think the horse is still the now horse. The horse does very well. Look at Tyler Gaffalione and the trainer David. I mean, they click at 33%. The horse does well at Churchill Downs. Probably not as good as probably Hit Show or any of those others. But, I mean, I think this horse is the now horse. He's going to sit close enough to the pace to just do what he wants to do. Doesn't need to be super close, but he'll be close enough within 2 lengths, maybe 3 at most. And I think he'll get him at the end.
Glad you like it, Harry. You know what's funny, Gio? Neither one of us landed on Disarm, and I looked and I said, Irad Ortiz riding Disarm for the first time, watch him get up and kick both of our asses and knock everything.
I saw that.
It's liable to happen eventually, but I couldn't get to him, and really, if you want to say anybody in this race is the class of the race, I can argue that Disarm is the class of the race.
Yeah.
But I landed on the horse that I think Nice Guy Eddie landed on, Hit Show. I think he gets the trip here. I think that he certainly has run well over the track before. He ran a monster race in Dubai. I forgive the Foster because, coming back from Dubai is always tough. He was dead game in the Mountaineer race. And, he's 10 for 20. He's 5 years old. He's always had potential, but I think he's finally really coming into his own now. And, I think he's just sitting in the right spot here. He's going to get the jump on Rock and Roll and a couple of the others. And I think that's going to be key. And I landed on Hit Show.
Just so you know, John and I have agreed on a few horses, but we have not talked about any of these races, so I don't want anybody thinking that.
It's all good. And like I said, folks, that those that believe in Mr. Setti, you got to rock and roll with me, baby. 'Cause I'm rattling and rolling.
So I had a little malfunction here.
All right, we're heading out west. Our game.
The John Henry, race 6.
John Henry, race 6. 1.25 miles on the turf at Santa Anita, the great race place. Gio, lead off.
Thank you for letting me lead off here. Nice field, going 10 furlongs on a lawn. I worked a long time on this race, probably more than all the others, because I didn't know as much about many of these, and it was the turf race that we had to work on. I land on Stay Hot, the 6. Let me tell you why. My first inclination was I really, really feel that this horse, a 4-year-old facing some older, is in prime form right now. In my opinion, could be in a great position to turn the tables on the horse to his outside, Gold Phoenix. If you go around to Stay Hot's full body of work, there are some tigers in the mix there. Look no further than losing to Formidable Man 3 times. This is a tough, hard-hitting colt who could be sitting on a real strong, maybe career best race. I like the works at Santa Anita. Primed, has proven himself on the lawn at Santa Anita. Of course, now you got to go to daunting distance. But this is a talented guy, and that's why I land him. I'm on Stay Hot to turn the tables on Gold Phoenix.
I'll go second here. I've been hitting cleanup most of the time, but I'll go second here because I love Stay Hot. I agree with Gio 1,000%. And I got a little bit of a history with this horse. It's not why I landed on him, but those of you that attend my Breeders' Cup seminars will know that I loved Stay Hot back in November of 23 in the Breeders' Cup Turf Juvenile, 17-1. I think I bet 3,000 to win on him that day. Didn't run a step, and I loved him. I was all in. Singled him in pick 5s, everything. 17-1, didn't run a step. Well, he come out of that race, and of course he wins at 5-2 in the Cecil DeMille. And he's a very game, dangerous horse. I wish Fraser was still on him. No knock on Mike Smith, obviously, but Antonio Fraser knows him very, very, very well and times him very, very well. If you watch his replay last time, I thought he had a little bit of a rough trip, got a little tight for him, did get to the lead, but, the other horse come on the far outside and got up late, loves that course, likes to win, but I think he could definitely, with a better trip, turn the tables. The other thing I like is that was the first time he went 1 mile and 3/8 a marathon distance. Now it's his second time at a marathon distance, so I think he'll be able to, possibly close the deal that he couldn't close last time. Stay Hot, second choice, probably 5-2, maybe if we're lucky 3-1. But I think if Mike times him right and rides him good, gets the money.
Happy you agree with me there, John. Let's hear from the other guys.
Pay the rent with Charles Trent.
Well, I mean, I had a little bit of a tough time here in this race because I actually think there's even some long shots that could even show up. But I still ended up landing on Gold Phoenix, excuse me. I just think that this horse has the most class, should be running them down at late. And like I said, there's a couple other horses in here. You like the one horse, but I think that horse from being claimed and is stepping up so much in class, I don't know if he could win, but I'll tell you what, I'll take Gold Phoenix in this race as my top choice, but I'm going to be playing a couple of long shots underneath him.
All right. Nice guy, Eddie.
I mean, here are my notes, John, almost verbatim. You said what I said. Stay Hot is probably my pick of the week.
Really? Okay.
I think this horse, just like you said, the horse got squeezed a little bit during the race, coming around the far turn, turning for home. He had to check, then he was blocked, then he had to come out. He used so much more energy than Gold Phoenix did in that race. He should have won the race. And in this race coming up on Saturday, the 2, 3, and 5 look like they could be speed, but they're soft speed. I hate using the term cheap speed, but that's kind of what they are. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Smith went gate to wire on this horse. If you watch the replay of the last horse, Mike Smith broke out like a length and a half, almost 2 lengths clear, and then grabbed a little bit of hold. And I think that cost him in that race. Now that he's on him again, but if he doesn't send him, I still think he gets first jump. I think Gold Phoenix had just a dream trip last time, and if Mike Smith can get him in a clean trip in a smaller field in this way, and he had a really nice good work since that race. So I'm all on Stay Hot as maybe, if not my top play, one of my top plays of the whole weekend.
Interesting. A lot of weight. 3 out of 4 on the panel on the same horse.
Yeah, John, I want to add one more thing.
Frank's not with us. Frank's on Gold Phoenix over Dicey Mo Chow.
And I forgot to mention for those viewers, yeah, I'm on Stay Hot. You heard everything I had to say, but I'm going to play a sizable exacta because John mentioned Frazou. I like Frazou on the 2. I feel Stay Hot's going to draw clear, but I'm playing one cold exacta, not with Gold Phoenix. But I'm going to use Balladeer with getting blinkers with Frazou being new, because I think Frazou is going to help this horse carry his speed longer than he has. And I trust Georgie P. So that's a good price horse to use underneath the 2.
All right. Nice guy, Eddie. Good one.
The Goodwood. This is my upset special.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm going with the other Baffert. I'm going with the 5 Nevada Beach. And here's why. It's a big step up in class, but he's...
No, you're actually going with the other Baffert.
Yes. But it's a step up in the class for him. But this horse has done nothing wrong his last few races. Smith and Baffert obviously have been a good combination for years. He's been giving him basically almost a full month off since the Los Al Derby win. And he's working steady and nice since then. He's bred to stretch out a little bit from that.
3 months off.
Has it been that long?
It wasn't that race. That race was June 28th.
Well, sorry. I wrote these notes this morning after I got out of that meeting. So, but he's bred to stretch out. He's really nicely bred, and I just think he catches him at the wire. I think it's going to be a hot contested pace. So I like him with Smith sitting patiently. I don't want to say the way he rode Zenyatta, but I kind of like the way he's going to ride this horse, and I think he catches them all.
Pay the rent, Charles Trent.
Well, first, Carl, congratulations. I'm glad you hit that pick 5. Now, for me, Eddie, it's the other Baffert horse for me. Private Man, I like this horse. I think this horse could probably even steal it, go wire to wire. This horse is going to be out there out in front or very close to it. So I'm on the other Baffert horse, but there's another Baffert horse in here. So probably Gio be on that one. Then we have that truck there. But that's how I see this race. It is a tough race overall, but I had Nevada Beach as my second Baffert horse. Let's put that away. So, but that's what I have.
Well, I had Privman. Privman is my second choice too. So,
Gio, who you got?
I'm pumped up to talk about this race. Yes, Baffert's got 3 horses, but Gio said he isn't on either one of them. I do not like either one or either one of all 3 of Baffert's horses.
Gio, something happened to your screen. What'd you do to your?
Oh shit! Hold on, I don't know. Let's see.
no, it's like something spilled on it.
There you go.
All right. So I'm not on Baffert in this race for different reasons. First things first, all 3 of these, in my opinion, have been underachievers, especially gaming. I've never been a fan of gaming. So I automatically put a line through gaming. If gaming hits the board here, I lose. I do respect Nevada Beach because I think that horse is going to have a future. But I need you guys to help me with one thing because I'm praying somebody else is on. I'm on First Mission, but I do not want Paco Lopez to ride this horse.
Paco Lopez is suspended. He ain't riding.
Good. All right. So I saw him listed. I've been away in Florida. Good. I don't want that cockroach on my horse. I'm on First Mission for many, many reasons. First things first, I think this Godolphin Blue horse has been so primed for so many races, and just in many of those races didn't fulfill the promise of running his absolutely best. He does have a lot of success. He's got 6 wins in 3 seconds. That's 9 exactas in 14 races. But in my opinion here, in this spot, grade 1, a lot of money. West Coast. This is an opportunity for First Mission to put it all together and just simply outclass the field. I think the trip's going to be right. I trust Brad Cox. I say to myself, if First Mission doesn't put it together against this group, he may never fulfill that dynamic level that many thought this guy had. So I like him decisively in this race. I just needed to add that I'm playing one cold exacta because that horse on the outside who ran great in South America just has dynamic, crazy, relentless high speed. And I think First Mission is going to have to run that horse down. I just think he does at the end. So I'm playing First Mission single and a First Mission full Serrano exacta in this race. No Bob Baffert for me. As much as I love the man, I don't like his 3 horses in this race.
It's interesting because everything that you said about First Mission is what I wrote in my weekly column for Amwager, only I didn't land on him. I wrote that he just never delivers in that grade 1 race. Always looks like he's sitting on that big race, sitting on that breakthrough race, going to come through, and he just never delivers it. So I'm kind of done with him. I'm like, you had too many chances, which is the same thing you said about Bob's horse being underachieved. I kind of think he's kind of like a faker.
What if they put Umberto on him?
Who? Umberto? Yeah, I mean, I Umberto's got to ride him. He's not going to ride him.
I'm just happy Lopez isn't on. But John, go ahead. I want to hear what you.
I think Umberto would fit him very, very well, but it wouldn't make me bet on him. I just don't think that horse delivers, and I think this race is a little trickier than you think. Full Serrano was a running son of a bitch. Make no mistake about it. That horse can run. I was there when he won the Breeders' Cup Mile. He laid off all this time and won that comeback race like I mean, he didn't break a sweat. And let me tell you what, he won the Breeders' Cup Mile last year. They're running him in this race, which is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So Sadler's probably saying, you know what? We may be good enough to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. And if this turns out to be a little bit too long for him, we could always cut back and go in the Breeders' Cup Mile again. So he's playing it really smart, and he's got a running horse that's going to be tough to beat. But I didn't land on him. I did think everything that you gentlemen said about Nevada Beach was true. I think he's got a bright future. I think he's looking really good. I think he's dangerous, but I don't think he's up to this task yet. But I do like Privman, who paid the rent with Charles Trent Light. And the reason I like Privman is I think that this horse was always cut out to be very good, and then didn't put it together those first 3 races. But then the light bulb went off. He breaks his maiden. He comes back. If you watch the replay of his last race, he had the lead in the stretch. Okay.
Well, I saw it, John.
Miles came on the outside, got him, and he dug back in on the inside to beat him. And that horse come back to win coming out of that race, albeit not in this kind of company. But I just think this is a horse that may be getting good at the right time, coming in full of confidence. And if this is a little too far for Full Serrano, which I'm going to need that help to get I think we're all going to need that help to get anybody else home, honestly. But if this is a little too far for Full Serrano, which it may be, I think Privman can sneak in there and win and make up for Nisos not being in the race and get Bob back to the Classic with a horse that may have a shot.
John, you know as well, not as well, better than I do that Privman has been thought of very highly in that barn. And there's a lot of hype behind him. And it was hard for me to jump off him and go to Nevada Beach, but I'm just thinking Nevada Beach may be able to just run down a couple of horses with less experience. That's all.
No, I get it. I don't. I like him a lot, but
and John, to your point, I want to add to that. Yeah, because I came back and I had to get my focus back on watching races. That's his last I watched a few times, and you're absolutely right. It was actually more amazing because he was passed in the stretch. He lugged in terribly. It regained his focus after being green, and then went right by him before the wire.
Right.
That was interesting. I just think this big step up from optional claim of 50 to this grade 1, but a talented horse. Horse.
I don't think
it's a big ask. I agree. It's a big ask.
It's a big ask, but I also don't think you're going to get 5-1 on Privman. I think you're going to get 3-1 on Privman.
No way. I don't think so. I think you'll get every bit of the 5-1. This is a tough race. First Mission's going to take money, and Phil Serrano's going to take a lot of money. I think. Yeah,
and I think Privman will be third choice, but he's going to get bet down just because Baffert's got 3 horses, and people are going to think about, oh, well, one's going to do something for the other, and maybe they jump on Privman as being the beneficiary of the race structure.
Yeah, one last note on this, because I'm always preparing for my tickets. I said to myself, because of the presence of Baffert in this race, if First Mission, my top choice, comes in and nails Full Serrano, you're right, John, he's a super fast horse. That 4-7 exacta could pay $16, $17 if it happens, and that's what I'm really attracted to.
No argument. Thank you for all the nice comments, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. Well, there you have it. I mean, between the 4 of us and 5 races, hopefully we got at least 1 or 2 winners. If we get completely freaking blank, we're gonna suspend ourselves and not do any shows for a 30-day period.
And there's other really nice races out there this weekend. There's the Aqueduct, which is a really nice race. There's some other stakes races out there. So good weekend.
I'm going to throw something out there. Amwager, who we love, okay? They have at Santa Anita Saturday and Sunday, any win bet you make, 0% takeout. That's a phenomenal promotion, especially for somebody like me. And because you guys know, those that are close to me, Gio, because I sometimes send you I love to pound win bets when I really like a horse. I'm not afraid to empty the account on the win hole. So to take a 0% takeout, I'm in, man. I'm in. I love that. So that's a great opportunity at Amwager. The Goodwood is going to be the Thoroughgraph show this week. That should be up mañana, tomorrow, at Churchill Downs and maybe a little Aqueduct. Eddie C is going to have some of his notebook picks on PassTheWire.com. And when Keeneland opens up, Gio is going to have his picks on PassTheWire.com for the whole 2 weeks. What is that week? It's a 2-week meet.
Yes, to the end of the month, right before the breeders start. By October 31st, but it starts Friday, October 3rd, and it runs for the 2.5 weeks. And
you got some major Breeders' Cup preps during that time too. You got that mile turf race. I forget which one it is. You got the Spinster, which is a big, big prelude to the Distaff. A lot of races, a lot.
And just to add to that, John, thanks for the mention. I'm going to be all in on Keeneland for those 2+ weeks, all in every day. That's my plan, and I'm going to share a lot with you guys. Just stay tuned to Pass the Wire. One thought about this weekend. I cannot lie. I'm betting all 5 of these races. But one thing, that's that 17-day meet. Thanks, Dan. I'm betting all 5 of these races. But what I strongly advise, pick one of these 3 tracks if you're a full card player and lean into one track for the full day. Now, me, as much as John spoke about Santa Anita, I've already made a decision where I'm going to go all in on the Naira card at Aqueduct on Saturday. But I am playing these 5 races. And I'll see you, like John said, for the Keeneland meet. Stay tuned.
John, let me just add one last thing, because we're fortunate. For those of you that don't know this, Tampa Bay Downs is celebrating their 100-year anniversary this year. They have a lot of special events going on. Aside from having 2 of the major prep races leading into the Kentucky Derby with the Sam Davis and the Tampa Bay Downs. So we're fortunate and super happy to have Tampa Bay Downs as a sponsor. And, just keep on the lookout. If you've never been there, it's a great, nice little track with great racing, and the people are super there.
It's their 100th anniversary, Yeah. And, I don't know. We got 4 people that go back a ways here on this show. I don't know if anybody's going to notice of him, but I don't know that a Tampa Bay Downs Derby winner has ever won the Kentucky Derby. Wouldn't it be nice if on their 100th anniversary they finally got one? Did Street Sense win the
Street Sense? I think they have a Derby winner, John.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
They should by now. 100 years, they should.
Yeah.
Well, you would think they would, right?
You would think.
Well, my show will be coming out later, hopefully tonight, and I'm going to be doing Aqueduct myself.
Let me see if Siri knows. Hey, Siri, has a winner of the Tampa Bay Downs Derby ever won the Kentucky Derby?
Yes. In 2007, Street Sense became the first Tampa Bay Derby participant to win the
There you go.
Who got it?
This is from Wikipedia. For more, say Oculus on iPhone.
No, that's good. You did your job. Appreciate it. I called it. I haven't destroyed all my brain cells in my youth. There's some.
You know why? You know what? By the way, here's my opinion. The reason why the Tampa Bay Derby hasn't produced many Derby winners, let alone an abundance of Derby starters. There's a lot of Derby starters. Because think about the colts that are really going well. They always point to either the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass, or the Florida Derby if they're going to be in Florida, not the Tampa Bay Derby. I think that has something to do with it.
How about a best bet each? I'll give you mine. Short, stay hot in the John Henry, Santa Anita. Best bet of the weekend. Gio, who's your best bet of all the horses?
Good question. I too love Stay Hot, but I'm really, really, really enthusiastically looking forward to Rattle and Roll. I'm making a nice bet, and Doc Sullivan on equal terms.
You got to choose one, Gio.
If I got to use one because of price I'm going to get on Rattle and Roll, I think Rattle and Roll is ready to rock and roll.
What about you, Eddie?
Well, I mean, I said it when I said it. I Stay Hot's my best bet of the week.
Pay the rent, Charles Trent. I think Charles.
I think I'm going to get a nice price on Bravery Man. I really do, and I'm going to say that's. What's that?
I think you're on tape delay. You got a little delay.
You said Privman.
Oh yeah, a little bit probably.
He's named after
mine is my best bet because I'm both.
He's named after Jay Privman.
Yep.
Who's a super nice guy.
Oh, okay.
By the way, the Tampa Bay Derby's only been around for 45 years, just so you all know that.
All right.
Okay, yeah. That's another good point, Ed. See, it doesn't have the history as the others.
But you know what they're doing? You can see, especially in the last, I don't know, John, you may know better, but I'd say at least the last 5, if not 10 years, they're getting more and more better horses for the Sam Davis, for the Tampa Bay Derby, and for their turf racing, because they got one of the best turf courses in the country.
Listen, they're sneakily and quietly getting better turf horses than Gulfstream Park.
Well, Chad runs his best up there a lot.
Stop telling people that. That's true, and he's been doing that for a long time. And people think, oh, he's sending the second stringers to Tampa. No. He's sending the first stringers to Tampa. But all right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. What's the schedule for the Breeders' Cup? Listen, the seminar this year, which I changed up the Breeders' Cup seminar. I'm doing a PDF with all of the information on there. All the feedback has been great, but a live Q&A. Information's already on the homepage at PassTheWire.com. But we'll be doing a ton of stuff for the Breeders' Cup. We're going to be up there all week, videos, updates. We always give you the kind of shit that nobody tells you about and people don't talk about. None of that shill nonsense. I still say my claim to fame a couple of years ago, I was out there. I don't remember the horses' names. Maybe one of you guys will remember. But Richard Mandela had a horse and Jenna Antonucci had a horse. Yes, Archangelo and Mandela had that other horse that ran into Haskell. And everybody was talking about how great those horses were doing. I said, I'm watching these on video. It's on the channel. I'm watching these horses in the morning. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they both look like terrible to me. They don't look like they're heading into the Breeders' Cup. I don't care who's telling you what. They look bad to me. Well, guess what? They both scratched. So we'll be out there and we'll be giving you whatever information we can get to try and help make all of you be a better, because that's why we love the game. We love the interaction. We love all of you. It's like a Pass the Wire family. We appreciate you all. And we try and do it right. Like I say, nobody does it better. Often imitated, never duplicated. I said it on the show the other day. Believe it or not, there's people on Facebook. I don't know who they are yet. I don't know. And I don't mind. I'm happy because imitation is the best form of flattery, right? But there's a couple of people on Facebook doing Thoroughgraph numbers and patterns posts. This is the Thoroughgraph horse of the week or number and pattern of the week. And where do you think they came up with that? We know where they got that. But that's great because it promotes Thoroughgraph. And like I say, it doesn't matter. There's no competition out there because you can only get our opinion. You're only going to get Gio's opinion from Gio. You're only going to get my opinion from me. You're only going to get Ed's opinion from him. You're only going to get Charles' opinion from him. So nobody could duplicate, copy what I do because I look at it the way I look at it. That's it.
Another note for the BC Breeders' Cup, and if you're a real player and a thoroughbred racing enthusiast, Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday is like a holiday for you every year. And coincidentally, this year, the reason why I'm making this point, it's literally on Halloween Friday and All Saints Day on Saturday. The reason why I'm mentioning this, if you're a young dad and you got little kids and Juvenile Friday falls in on Halloween, it's even more important for you to have added focus to make sure you know precisely what you want to play, because you know you're going to have a natural distraction for your children on Halloween because it's a fun day for them. So Breeders' Cup Juvenile Friday is Halloween, and then Breeders' Cup Saturday, All Saints Day. We all make money both days, but remember, you got to focus to the finish.
Mike, about a book, no, but I will say this. I often thought of writing one. I've been encouraged to write one. I even have a publishing company that told me they would publish it, and I just never have the time to do it. Now maybe with artificial intelligence, I could maybe like talk it and I could write it or something like that. I don't even know. But what I will say is this. There are a bunch of videos. If you go back on the handicapping playlist on Past the Wire TV, there were so many handicapping videos that I did early on about ticket structure and just so many different topics. I would recommend watching some of them. And there's even articles I wrote years ago, but they're so buried in the website with all the articles now, it'd be so like hard to find them. But I put out a lot of stuff that I think you would really like, especially in those old handicapping videos. If you go back on the handicapping playlist and just scroll back and the subjects that, you know, catch your attention, check them out because I put a lot into that. And I think you might enjoy it and maybe get something out of it. So, and always reach out with questions. We're all, any one of us, anybody that's on Past the Wire, one of the prerequisites is got to be available for questions. If somebody's got a question and you can answer it, answer it. So
I'll say one thing for Mike.
I get questions all the time. Sometimes it takes me a while to get back because my email, I get 50 emails a day from Past the Wire, but I get to everybody.
John, I just want to add a point. Good stuff because, yeah, Mike, John has a lot more than me, but I've been around for almost 8 years with Past the Wire, so I have some handicapping shows too. But one of the things I have to share with you as a capper, and I don't know your age, but you need to identify what type of player you are. What's your forte? Where do you make the most money? Do you make most money in win wagers or exotics? Are you a triple exact or a super player? Or is it doubles, pick threes, or pick fives? And how do you handicap? What's the embodiment of your approach? Is it thoroughbred? Is it buyer? Like, so I'm somebody that uses buyers to my advantage because I interpret them well. So just identify the type of player you are, Mike.
All right. Recreational for fun with win bets. Well, if you let me tell you something. If you're playing recreational for fun, then just enjoy it, have fun, make your win bets, and you know, try and make your scores. Make it count. When you got a strong opinion, press it. Always press your opinions. That's the best advice that I could give you. I like Dan. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. All right, let's. You guys gonna watch some football? Anybody got an opinion on the game tonight? I said I like Seattle.
Yeah, I think the Seabags are just a better team on both sides of the ball. The Cardinals haven't played anybody worthwhile yet. They're missing James Conner. I think the Seabags, the Seattle Seahawks, take it to them tonight. 31-16.
Arizona is something like 2-14 in their last 16 games against their Western Division other three teams.
That's better than I thought they were. I thought they haven't won since Larry Fitzgerald retired.
Yeah. And the Rams always kick their ass over in Arizona and LA. So I get what
their last quarterback to win the game was Jim Hart, wasn't it?
Oh, come on now. Come on now. I remember Jim Hart.
By the way,
I think he was number 17, if I remember correctly.
if you guys are betting the game, I got a prop for you. Cooper Kupp is plus 330 tonight. I put a yard on him to score an anytime touchdown. I think quarterback Sam hits Cooper Kupp in the end zone for plus 330 touchdown tonight. I said it. Remember that.
Cooper Kupp is the third best receiver on that team.
I know, but he's got skills in the end zone. He's going to find them tonight.
I'm going to tell you. Let me explain something to you, or just hold on. Let me rephrase it. Let me explain my take on prop bets. Back in the day when you bet with a bookie, you either won what you bet or you paid the 10% vig.
That's right.
Okay, back in the day, you got 2.5 or 3 to 1 if you did a parlay. Today, they're doing all these prop bets and in-game bets, and you're getting killed on the odds. It's the dumbest freaking bet in the world. This is why the only thing I typically bet is horse racing. It's a better return than the stock market, and you get it back in a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Okay, but you still got to invest in the S&P 500 and certain prop plays. If you follow players and you know they're due for a score, and you know their separation ability, like a Kupp, you're going to see Kupp is going to get a couple of targets in the end zone tonight. Mr. Setti, Ram fan, Mr. Setti. See that? He knows Kupp. Remember that.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
Didn't need to see that, by the way.
No. We know Niners are the best out there. Come on.
A lot of opinions. Well, remember one thing that you could always say about gambling: it brings families closer together. Because if you do it enough, you all wind up sleeping on the same couch. And we'll end with that. So, ciao, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of love to you all, and we'll be in touch.
Buenas noches, buena suerte.
God bless everybody.
Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, head into the final furlong. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.